Hey guys, welcome back to another video. First episode of Driving with Dems. This is where I share topics that is relevant to Canadian immigration on my way to work or on my way to somewhere, right? In this case, I'm on my way to work. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about Canadian immigration, something that is very interesting. If you guys are new here, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on this video if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I will be talking about. What I will be talking about is Canadian immigration backfires. Yes. So if you guys don't know what's going on, a couple weeks ago I shared a video where we spoke about all the changes that's happening in Canada, predominantly about international students not being able to take their family with them, or international students needing to show 2 times the amount that they needed to show previously. Those are a lot of changes that have been affecting a lot of students, both already in Canada and prospective international students who are looking to come to Canada. Now, how does this backfire on the Canadian immigration system and on Canada as an economy in general? So, since announcing the changes, Canada has seen a 55% reduction in international students' enrollment in colleges all around the country. Now, the immigration or IRCC, or the Canada government, was forecasting to see a reduction of 35%. So this is significantly higher than what they were forecasting. So it simply means that way fewer international students are thinking of studying in Canada and have enrolled to study in Canada because of the many changes, I assume. So Canada has seen a 55% reduction, and a lot of the international students are choosing to go somewhere else. Now, how does this affect Canadian colleges? Now, let's be honest. International students pay up to 3 times more, oftentimes more than a domestic student, to study in Canada to get the same certification. Now, whilst I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because of course you are moving to a new country and you can't expect to pay the same amount that a domestic student would have paid, because no, they probably are here already contributing to the economy. If not them, their family members were here before them, contributing to the economy, paying taxes and stuff like that. So if you're just coming to a new country, there has to be some leverage that you have to do, that the country have to do, to make sure that the country is benefiting in some way, to allow persons to come to the country to study and potentially take up a spot from a domestic student. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that part. But these international students who previously in Canada has been, to an extent, cash cows for a lot of these colleges, to the point that they start depending on international students' enrollment for their survival, essentially. So a lot of colleges now start depend on these fees to keep their doors open, because of these international students' enrollment, the government had to do less investment in the tertiary education system in Canada, and ultimately international students don't only contribute. Sorry guys, we'll look on the road as well. You see a school bus? Yeah. I'm at a very finicky intersection. Okay, there we go. So apart from paying okay baby, see a school bus, good job. I'm taking Malia today home as well. So international students don't only contribute to colleges financially. Mommy is on her way. Mommy's at work. You'll see mommy later, okay? So international students don't only contribute to the colleges financially, but they also contribute to the economy in general, because a lot of these international students end up have to be working part-time, filling oftentimes low-wage employment that is usually struggling to find suitable candidates or staffing. So international students fulfill a lot of those staffing requirements for those low-wage, low-skill, oftentimes part-time employment opportunities that keeps the economy going, keeps the economy flowing. In addition to that, international students has to come with a level of financial support. So it simply means that they are contributing to the economy by buying things, supporting businesses, and if it's even buying a winter jacket, everything like that. International students and immigrants ultimately support the Canadian economy financially in those ways as well. So it's not just paying school fees, and then everything is good. And of course, if you're working, you're paying taxes, so those taxes goes towards the economy as well. Now, with the reduction in international students enrollment, the Canadian economy will not only see colleges struggling financially to cover that gap that this shortage will leave, but also the Canadian government will now need to make significant investment into these tertiary education colleges, universities, in order to keep their door open. So cost factor that would have been usually supplemented by international students are now have to be supplemented by the government, which simply means that those funds has to come from somewhere. So the economy itself will, in my own opinion, will face a negative impact by the significant reduction of international students enrollment. And that is how I think these immigration changes will backfire on a Canadian economy, a Canadian system, a Canadian country, whatever you want to look at, whatever you want to call it, right? So I think these reduction, whilst it's gonna lead to other benefits, such as more housing, as they put it, for persons already in Canada. Of course, there's a housing crisis, nobody's saying otherwise, but housing will be more available. Definitely that's a problem that needs to be fixed. There's gonna be probably more job opportunities for persons who are here who are struggling to find jobs. Let's be honest, that's something that's gonna be fixed with the reduction. But at the same time, you're gonna give and take with one hand in terms of to what extent are you gonna go to get these problems fixed. Is there a middle ground? Is there a middle ground where we can have international students still being encouraged to come to Canada, but not at the detriment of housing, not at the detriment of jobs and stuff like that? Is there a middle ground? I think there has to be a middle ground, because the extremities of things right now, is either one extreme to another extreme. Is either, okay, then you're gonna have mass migration, which cause housing prices to go up and become unavailable. Vacancy rate, we know, is the lowest it's ever been since probably 40 years, 50 years ago. Unemployment rate, yeah, all of those factors. Or are we gonna fix those issues by having the Canadian economy probably fall at the brink of recession? Because let's be honest, immigration was what kept Canada going throughout COVID and caused the country to not suffer economically as other countries did, because Canada had immigration as a supplement because persons were interested in coming into Canada, and immigrants usually have to make significant investment in order to migrate to Canada, in a sense, as I mentioned before, upfront costs for immigration fees, all of those factors, medical, all of those things add up. Because when I was doing my own PR application, I had to do medical, even though I was in Canada at that time for probably 3-4 years, living here, working here, I've been completing my studies here, and I had to do a medical for my daughter, who was just 4-year-old at the time, and we had to pay full fee for her. So like, until immigration almost started to appear as a business rather than a service, right? So, which again, I have no issues with that, because I believe that immigrants have to contribute to a society in order to move there. So say that well, right? So with the reduction in immigration, all of those factors would not have been there, and the country would have been suffering a lot more than it did and or could have. When you look at the other countries on the same level as Canada, they suffered significant economical challenges. Canada, not so much. Yeah, there was rising interest rates and all of those factors, and inflation and all of those nuances. But at the end of the day, it could have been worse, and immigrants actually helped to make that process not as bad as it could have been. So again, is there a middle ground? What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's a middle ground for you to have your cake and eat it? Or is it just one extreme to another extreme? And if you're watching this and you're not an immigrant, and you are, you know, you're a Canadian, born Canadian, who is probably anti-immigration, I'd love to hear your feedback as well. Do you think the government is doing what's necessary for Canadians, and then this is the best thing to do to make sure that Canada has a brighter future, a better future? What do you think? And if you're an immigrant already in Canada, do you agree with the changes? Do you disagree with the changes? And if you are a prospective immigrant, what do you think about the changes? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Let me know in the comment section if you agree that these changes will backfire and backfire very quickly. Or do you think that the social impact that these changes will have will outweigh the negative impact? Let me know, guys. Will the positive impact of these changes outweigh the negative impact? I'm very curious to know. Again, this is just my opinion, this is just my thought, but you don't have to agree with me. I encourage constructive conversation. I encourage constructive objections. Let's talk about it in the comment section, guys. Canadian immigration backfires. Thank you guys so much. First episode of Driving with Them. So let me know if you guys like these kind of videos too, and I'll do a lot more of these kind of videos for you guys. Quick touch point on different areas, sharing my thoughts, so you guys can just hear what I think about the different situations, and you know, an opportunity for us to chat, right? Again, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, and leave your comment. See you guys in the next video. Peace.